I would like to recommend this book, Day After Day, Coping with Mental Illness, a workbook by Alyse King. Day After Day Coping Workbook is the first in the self-help reintegration series. In this workbook, Ms. King shares her journey to cope against impossible odds while struggling to help her son and daughter learn to manage their illnesses. This is a compelling story of sheer determination and not giving up or giving in to the demands of mental illnesses. Day After Day Coping Workbook shares with you with the ways to search for and successfully find new support to cope and move towards successful solutions to ease your struggle to cope as parent and caregivers. Day After Day Coping Workbook has inspired many who are undergoing severe stresses and depression. As a person who is caring for loved ones or who may be losing hope in the face of unfathomable challenges, my children and I are living proof that there is hope for effectively coping with your loved one's illnesses, stated Ms. King. As mental illness raged on in her family, life continued to be uncertain. Tensions escalated daily. Ms. King and her children lived from moment to moment, from day to day, never knowing when their situation within the family would suddenly change. During the initial years of dealing with mental illness, it was extremely difficult for her to cope while she cared for her son and daughter, as well as her other children and herself. Ms. King said her focus was very clear. It was to keep fighting for her son's and daughter's mental health, regardless of the cost to her. In order for her to accomplish her goal, she must endure to the end. If she failed, she would have lost her fight against mental illness. Ms. King was not willing for that to happen. With determination, she fought with all her strength to help her son and daughter cope with schizophrenia and bipolar. This was central for her coping. She said she knew without a doubt that it would be difficult for her to do this. Regardless, she worked extremely hard to help her children cope. With each one of their emotions that robbed them of hope and comfort, I had to find new and different coping techniques for them, said Ms. King. Her self-confidence was shattered. Her self-worth plummeted to zero. At times she felt that she just could not go on any longer. Crawling into bed and staying there seemed easier than searching for ways to cope, Ms. King said. Her success in coping with adversities was dependent on the effort that she put forth in finding ways that would really make a difference in her success. Day After Day Coping Workbook has all the effective ways that helped her and her children to cope with their illnesses. Finding new and effective ways to cope took endurance and discipline. She said she had to find personalized ways that worked best for her and her son and daughter. During Ms. King's search to find ways to cope, she was optimistic and determined to identify positive options. If she had failed in coping with her son's and daughter's mental illnesses, she would have failed to cope with her own health, challenges, and ultimate recovery. She said she was determined for that not to happen. Yes, you can also learn to cope, live independently, be productive, and hold a job. If you acquire the right tools and learn to recognize the opportunities available to you. Ms. King wrote Day After Day Coping Workbook to inspire others that in the face of unfathomable challenges, there is hope for coping and recovering. Day After Day Coping Workbook is for those who are searching for different ways to hope and coping with their illnesses. Day After Day Coping is designed for an individual study program, as well as to be used in a group setting, in support groups, in group homes, or in any training facility. It is designed to help you cope with your illnesses and move you forward to your recovery period. Other workbooks in the reintegration series include self-improvement skills workbook, job preparation skills workbook, how to get and keep your job workbook, and a trainer's manual.